Yo, it's Elliot with Yo Elliot. You got strength questions and I've got your answers.
Yo, Elliot.
Today we have a question from this strange character who would like to know how to improve his motivation so that he can continue on his journey towards success. Check him out.
Yo, what's up, Elliot? Ryan again. I'm sure you know who I am, but got a question for you today. Not so much about working out, as I guess you would call this motivation or life. I don't know, but I'm hoping and I'm pretty sure you're going to give a good answer. But what I got for you, man, is how do you recommend, or if it's happened to you before, if you just kind of feel bored with everything that you got going on? You're looking for creative outlets. You're doing, maybe things things that you used to do don't excite you anymore. They're not very motivating. You're looking for new things to do to get you psyched up, to keep doing bigger things. Hope this makes sense, but I guess it's more or less like sometimes, like, I know it's happened to me right now. I just feel kind of bored, like I'm trying to stay creative, do new things, new businesses, new ventures, new sports, keep working out, just some things, just friends, new, old friends aren't really, kind of losing contact, not really, into the same things anymore. But, have you gone through this? If you've gone through this, what advice can you give to kind of, how to embrace it and kind of learn from it and grow? But I hope that makes some sense, and I hope you got a good rant or answer for me. But that's it. Thanks a lot for your videos are awesome, and you're a cool dude. Obviously, you know that. Talk to you later.
Well, the very first thing I would like to bring everybody's attention to is that I actually know this gentleman, if we can call him that. And I want to thank him, Ryan, for your question. And the very first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to take a look at your MacBook, because I know you have a Mac laptop. And you're going to notice this symbol somewhere on there. It's your on and off switch. So you might think it's just a cool looking symbol that Apple decided to use for their on and off, but this actually represents something that we can use as a metaphor and also scientifically understand these waves, these patterns, these in and outs that you're having with lack of motivation on a very particle level, like down to the very roots of our existence, and at an expansive explanation of what's going on. I'll tell you what I mean in a moment. What you're actually looking at when you see that on and off switch is a 0 and a 1. Now, anybody who knows anything about the digital world, it's really everything that all of this technology is constant, or a bunch of switches going on and off, on and off, on and off, and they're represented by zeros and ones. Zeros and ones. You'd think that, like, we were so brilliant that we came on. Now, I don't want to say how computers work, but we were so brilliant that we figured out that in order to get this technology to work, we just had to switch ons and off, ons and off, ons and off. It literally is a duality. It's this dualistic dance between on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. And that is represented everywhere in nature, everywhere in your life, everywhere in the world. It's this constant interaction between on and off, up and down, black and white. And it's even in the physical manifestations of the energy that brings that forth. What do I mean by this? Anybody who understands physics knows that this is not really as solid as it looks. It's really a bunch of wave particles going in and out of existence. Waves, wave patterns. I have lights on in here. You see a continuous stream of light, but really it's lights going in and out. They're photons going in and out of existence, turning on, turning off, turning on, turning off, turning on. But it's happening at such a rapid rate and to such a degree that most of us, all of us, can't see it. You're hearing me right now. These sound waves, these audio waves are on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. They're waves. They're coming in and out of existence. They're opposites. If you look at the wave, there, you've got this part, you've got this part. They're complete opposites. So down at the most primordial level, and I'm not a physicist or a physics major or anything of that fashion, but I remember this from class. You've got opposites. And everything is an interaction of opposites. We've got night and we've got day. That is a gross example of what's happening down at the particle level. We've got seasons. We've got summer, if you could see that, and we've got winter. That's an even bigger example of what's just happening here. This is summer, this is winter, if you will. You've got black, you've got white, you've got up and down, you've got heaven, you've got hell. We've got all of this. Life is a dance, a dualistic dance. It's a constant interaction between opposites. Now, what happens is, and most of our anxiety and unhappiness comes from the resistance that these actually exist. What I mean by resistance is that, for example, there was a time several weeks ago where you were in a summer mode. You were planting, you were sowing seeds. This is evident in gardening. You're sowing seeds. And you were busy, dude. I remember you were just on your computer working really hard, focused, sowing seeds. You were in a season of sowing. A season just like any other season that has a complete opposite. And that is your season of reaping. Now what happens is we get very attached to one of the seasons as we're in it, and as we're moving out of that season, we don't come with it. Our psyche, our ego gets attached to what was happening during that stage. You were very busy during that stage. You were doing lots of different things to ultimately be able to reap. But I know you and I know where you're at right now, and you are, whether you know it or not, or even like the way it looks, you're in a season of reaping. So you've got to let go of the idea that you need to find something to do. You got to do something. I need some motivation. You don't need motivation. You actually need to let go and relax and enjoy your season of harvest. Now, life, like everything else, ends up looking like this. So I'm sitting here in a season of harvest. Things might not be as beautiful as you'd like them to be, but it's a better place than you were when you were down here. You're actually here. And then you're going to have to go ahead and you're going to have another season of reaping, another season of sowing, another season of reaping, sowing, and so on and so forth. It's the law of nature. That's the way it works. This looks just like this, which is an example of the on and off. So my point here is that there's nothing that you need to do. In fact, if you can screw things up by trying to do stuff. If these wave particles decided that they were just not happy being off and always wanted to be on, they'd fuck up light. These were photons. Like, light wouldn't work anymore because it's an interaction between ons and offs. But because we have choices and we don't have to choose, we could choose not to go with the flow of life, which a flow is another thing that looks like this, and we can resist it. So, long story short, right now, relax, do nothing, enjoy, and I promise you, the inspiration to go into your next season of sowing is going to come. I've made the mistake of trying to create things during a season where I should have been enjoying things or receiving things. You can't do both. Both can't happen during the same season. You can't have on and on. You have on and off. You can't have... In order for us to even recognize what's happening in nature, there has to be contrast. You can't have all day and never have a night. You can never have up. Everything can't be up and there's no down. So recognize this law of nature, this dualistic or this flow of seasons, or this reaping and sowing, this constant contrast between opposites. Embrace it, enjoy it, relax, and wait for the next season before you start acting now. Hopefully that's helpful to you, dude. I know it's a little bit ephemeral, but bottom line, chill out. Talk to you next time. Yo, Elliot.